I got tagged, and I'm very tempted to rename this into the Shocking Revelations tag. Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. My name is Angela, and yes, this is a tag video because I got tagged by the wonderful and only Johanna. I don't think I need to talk in depth about Johanna's wonderful channel. If you're not subscribed to Johanna and don't know who she is, you have to sit down and really question your lifestyle choices, because yeah, what are you doing? Okay, so the tag is the "Why haven't I read these books yet" tag, and it has 5 categories, and I'm supposed to find an answer for each of them. And at first I thought, yeah, piece of cake, hey, easy peasy. This is a very quick one. Yeah, no. Okay, so because you don't get questions, you get like categories. So yeah. Okay, the first category is classic. So this could of course be literary classics, but also of course there are fantasy or sci-fi classics. Well, let's do one for each category perhaps. So a classic author where I haven't read much is William Wordsworth. I, for example, have not read The Prelude, and yeah, I do have a PhD in comparative literature, but still I haven't read The Prelude by Wordsworth. Actually, I only have read 2 of his poems, The Daffodils and Tintern Abbey. And yeah, this gets even worse. I hope nobody else is listening, but kind like, okay, don't tell this story to anybody, please do not tell this story to anybody else. When I was teaching my very first university course or seminar under my own label, so to say, so not with some professor in the background supervising or somebody else co-teaching, this was on, yeah, romantic poetry. And yes, I taught that course, and I only had read 2 pieces by Wordsworth and nothing else, and I got away with it. But shh, don't tell anybody else, please. Do not tell anybody else. Yeah. Okay. Second category, fiction. Oh no, I said I'd do a sci-fi thing. So a sci-fi or fantasy author I haven't read anything by, but at least I bought the book, is Roger Zelazny. I haven't read anything by this author. This is the Chronicles of Amber. It's one of those omnibus editions. It's in pristine order, hasn't been cracked open. Oh, actually, smells very nice. But otherwise I cannot tell you anything about this book because I haven't read it. And this is really, there's no excuse, there's no reason, because especially as this book is one of, or Zelazny is one of the authors that Erikson seems to value. So I haven't read him. I don't know. I can't tell you. No reason whatsoever, but I haven't read him. But I bought the book. That's one first step. I think we're going into the right direction. Okay, the next category is fiction. Now, I have to admit, fiction is really a category I'm totally neglecting. There is no reason really for me to keep up with fiction anymore, in the sense of literary fiction. So there are tons of books and authors I haven't read, because I predominantly read sci-fi, or actually fantasy, sci-fi these days. So I haven't read much fiction, and I haven't really kept up with fiction, and that I would know what's going on. But an author that comes to mind that also seems to have got a lot of mention and traction on BookTube is Sally Rooney. And I haven't read anything by Sally Rooney, so kind of like Conversation with Friends, I think, is one of her books. I haven't read that. And other that, as I say, my interests in what I read and what I like to read are in a totally different genre. There is no other reason why I haven't read anything by her. So there you have it. Third category, non-fiction. Okay, so My first example that came to mind is, maybe that's a very, how shall I say, Irish example and Irish problem. So every year there is this thing called Bloomsday. It's on the 16th of June because that's the day when Ulysses, the book, is set. And yeah, so when this kind of like event-filled day comes around, I always think, yeah, I should really reread Ulysses, which is one thing, but I mean, I've read that book, but a book I haven't read, and where I always think I should read this, is this one here, and this is heavy, which is one of the reasons why I probably haven't read this. This is Richard Ellman, the James Joyce biography. So I think it still is the definitive James Joyce biography. It has 800 something plus pages, and they have this really heavy glossy paper, and it weighs a ton, believe me, it weighs a ton. So yeah, I haven't read this. I have to say so. It looks good on a shelf. It really gives a shelf this sophisticated, learned appearance. So I would really recommend this if that's what you're after. But yeah, I haven't read this. I found when I got this off the shelf, I found inside kind of like a program booklet from one of the Bloomsday events that we must have attended. This says this says Bloomsday, Thursday the 16th of June 2011. Don't know if this will focus, if you can see this. So there you go. It's between page 6 and 7. I have no idea if I actually read the first 6 pages of this. I doubt it. I really doubt it. I think I just kind of like did this and put it on the shelf, and this is where it's going back to. My hopes for this book, and great, yeah, sorry book, sorry, yeah, no, don't cry, don't, it'll be okay. You'll be going back to the other nice books. So yeah, I haven't read this book. There you have it. Non-fiction. Another non-fiction book that I was thinking of as well, which interests me much more than Richard Ellman's Joyce biography, is actually Behave by Robert Sapolsky. And Johanna, who tagged me, actually did a wonderful discussion video on this. I will link this down below in the description box. And whenever I hear people talk about this book, I think, oh yeah, I really need to read this. And I haven't read it yet. I don't know. I have no idea why not. I could make excuses like no time and blah, busy. But yeah, we know those are excuses, because if you want to read a book, you read that book. So I don't know. I haven't read Richard Sapolsky Behave. No. Number 4, genre. Okay, this is an easy, straightforward one. A genre I completely neglect and ignore is romance. I can't remember, or probably I haven't read a romance book ever. I don't know. Nothing comes to mind, so the chances are very high that I never read any romance literature. So romance is a genre I just don't read. Doesn't interest me. I suppose we all have something like that. Genres we don't do. Sorry, romance genre. And the last question, book you have owned for the longest time and haven't read. Yeah, okay. This question is almost impossible to answer because there are so many books on the shelves here. If I haven't read it and it's that long, that it's the longest book on my shelf, I most likely have forgotten that I actually own that book. Now, in my TBR video, I owned up already that I haven't read Nnedi Okorafor, and I know that's a long time on my shelf. But I also think I found another book that's probably on my shelf longer. Actually, I'm pretty sure it's on my shelf for longer. And that is this one here. Pierce Arcadia. Now, there is a little story to this book as well. I didn't buy this book for myself. This book was given to me by my husband. So my husband and I, we have this custom that on Christmas Eve we go into town to watch all those frantic people running around trying to find last minute presents. And the only thing we do is we go into a bookshop and we buy a book for each other. So I buy a book for my husband and my husband buys a book for me. And then we go to a nice restaurant and have a nice meal and exchange our book gifts. So this is how I got this book. And yes, I know what you're thinking. How can you get a fabulous book from your husband and not read it? Again, there is no reason whatsoever. I do know that I was still working in academia when I got this book gifted for my Christmas book. So one of the reasons probably was stressed up to my eyeballs. But I really should put this onto my TBR, because I read the back when I kind of got this off the shelf. I thought, yeah, well, maybe this is the book that I should go for. And the blurb on the back is fabulous. It says 3 interlocking worlds, 4 people looking for answers. April 1960s, in the cellar of a professor's house in Oxford, 15-year-old Rosie goes in search of a missing cat and instead finds herself a different world. Enterwold is a sun-drenched land of storytellers and prophecies, but is this world real? And what happens if Rosie decides to stay? Meanwhile, a rebellious scientist is trying to prove that time does not even exist, with potentially devastating consequences. As the 3 worlds come together, one question arises: who controls the future or the past? This is being my book. This is my book. I mean, yes, my husband knows what I like to read, so this needs this needs to go onto the TBR. Yeah, there you have it. Yeah, so this was the why haven't I read these books yet tag. So it's time for me to tag some people, and the first person I would like to tag is Vasha from Reading by the Rainy Mountain. I love that channel name, and she has a really lovely channel. She's a brand new booktuber. I think she has 4 videos up at this stage. Like me, she does a mix between Malazan videos and other things. Her latest video is a Malazan video. It's on Anna and yeah, the burdened hero, and she has a really fabulous and very interesting approach to this topic, because she brings Anna together with other burdened heroes from other fantasy books, and it's fabulous. It's a great video. So go over to her channel, give her some love, subscribe, because I think it's a channel where we will see really interesting things in the future. The second channel I will be tagging is Joe and Mary from BookBots. Now, Joe and Mary are the quirkiest couple on BookTube. They're just hilarious. They're funny, they do little skits, but they also give a lot of info on their channel. It's really kind of like the incorporation of infotainment. Also, they have created, I think, 4 original tags by now, so they're really into tags. So who better to tag than Joe and Mary from BookBots? And my last tag goes to Fine from Fine Reads, because she's a channel I'm subscribed to for quite a while, even before I had this channel, so I was still subscribed to her under my old channel name. And I think Fine has some really interesting formats that are unique to BookTube, like for example her Reading Beyond the Shelf series, which I found super interesting. So my last tag goes to Fine from Fine Reads. Okay, that's it from me for today. Thank you for watching, and happy reading to everybody till the next video.